couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome to Blockchain Dynamics.
Number 9.
Show number 9. This is it, 9 weeks straight.
Nice.
Man, really happy to be here. Really happy to be doing the show still.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank everybody for listening. We're really happy with that everyone's tuning in. Everyone's giving feedback. We're having a ton of fun with this.
Oh, yeah. It's just been great.
What we're here to do is talk about the latest week in crypto. We're going to talk about a lot of the new coin announcements. We're going to talk about the big news. We're going to talk about some coin birthdays. And it's going to be really fun.
Yep. We keep track of on BitcoinTalk.com, which is kind of the hub of the altcoin scene for years.
For years.
As long as we know.
It's kind of like a lot of people like to trash Bitcoin Talk, myself among them, but it still remains the central source of news and info about new altcoins, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think most people would say that it's not even quite a legitimate blockchain project if it's not posted there. Like, people don't feel like they got a good chance at it.
Yep. So regardless, you're going to see basically every new blockchain property on Bitcoin Talk, which is why that's our main method for rounding these things up.
Yep. So we watch that as it comes up, and we talk about those coins.
Yep. Also, really happy to announce that next week we're going to have a special guest on the show, Mr. Not So Fast Crypto.
Yep, he'll be joining us for show number 10.
Yep, he'll be back around for show number 10 again. Celebrate the big number 10 with Not So Fast. We're really happy about that. He has just awesome insights. He's really fun to talk to. So we're really happy to have him lined up for the next show. And I know a lot of people have been mentioning that you really like the guest segments. We kind of rolled it back a little bit on the guests, just because we wanted to get really into our groove with each other and just the format of our show. But we're going to start bringing, I think, more regular guests back into the scene.
Yeah, and maybe doing some like pre-recorded interviews that we can play during the show and then reflect upon as well, so that we don't have to time everything.
Yeah, it can be stressful for developers to have to work on our live schedule and stuff, so we're going to definitely mix in some pre-recorded content too.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. That's our little intro. We wanted to talk a little bit about a follow-up from last week. We kind of talked about, we were speculating or just kind of musing on ways that a family could use a blockchain kind of like a trust fund as a way to store and distribute wealth within the family. And we kind of came up with this funny idea of having an artificial intelligence that you feed Bitcoin into, and the AI will essentially set a floor for the price of the family token, the trust fund essentially. And then so essentially that bot will guarantee the value based on the amount of Bitcoin it has in it. But my man Jukely, of course, we kind of joked that it was a cool way to do it with blockchain 1.0.
Yeah, but then I was thinking to myself, and I realized that that's kind of almost the perfect type of machine type of contract that Ethereum is capable of. If you were able to write like a trust fund contract that a person could initiate, and then they put in some seed money, and I mean, the part that it doesn't do is gain any interest necessarily beyond the value of the whatever is put in at Ethereum, most likely. The Ethereum gaining value is what makes the fund itself gain value. But over time, it could be the contract itself could be programmed to distribute the Ethereum to other people that contribute to it. It's kind of like a pyramid scheme, I suppose, except it wouldn't be available to anyone. It's kind of that family portion, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a situation where essentially it's a contract. It could be, this is, again, we're just talking about this kind of for fun. It could be like a contract that everyone in the family automatically gets essentially a private key that gives them access to these, the contracts on this.
Yeah,
this contract that gives people access to a percentage of the trust essentially based on whatever it would be depending on their private key essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a really cool way to potentially mix up the way that value is stored using blockchains.
Yeah, it's fun to think about because the future, I mean, certainly it would be easier for a family that had a lot of money, right? That type of thing. If you have a bunch of seed capital, then it's going to be more beneficial for the people down the line. That's really the same thing with a trust fund too. Like I think all you're doing is giving your money to your descendants, right?
Exactly. With the current state of Bitcoin and Ethereum markets, people are going to be reluctant to try and do something like that just with the volatility. But as cryptocurrency matures, if the prices do start to become more stable on these top tier coins, I think you're definitely going to start seeing people considering using them as vehicles to store wealth in kind of encroaching on those traditional markets.
And I imagine finding much more specific and creative ways to build contracts than we have too. Like,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Just
This
kind
is
of
just
like,
yeah. This is
that came to me as I was like, oh well, it's not necessarily like 1.0 isn't the way to do that,
Right.
because here we're talking about something that has a way to build that artificial intelligence directly into it.
Right, exactly. And then you have it essentially authorized, guaranteed by the Ethereum blockchain instead of relying on the code of this artificial intelligence.
Yeah, or any
really
human.
cool.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. And so that's just a thought. We're gonna jump in next. We're gonna jump into the new posts.
Straight into those posts on Bitcoin.
Oh, we love those new posts.
And man, this
They're
has
so
been
funny.
again. There's been a lot of posts this week. Like
I would say it's
popping out
I would
to me
say I
right
would
off
say
the
it's a
top,
week.
but-
I would say it's a weak slate.
Yeah, it's weak. I mean, there's definitely always, it's kind of always weak, and if you look at it,
It's always weak and always great.
If it's a soup, it's pretty watery most of the time.
Yeah, totally. I totally feel that. But that said, there's still a lot of interesting things going on with the new posts, and I just I have to be aware of them all. Otherwise, I feel like I'm missing out. So
And we even had some, at least one that I see right off the bat.
Yeah.
That was a list right off the same week. So two.
yep.
So
yep.
let's get right off the InfoCoin was the first one.
InfoCoin, the first announcement this week. What do you think about InfoCoin?
Well, basically, it looks like if you want to participate in this one, you're going to have to ball up and download whatever that QQ communication program
Right,
is and
yeah.
go talk to some Chinese people.
Yeah, this is a fully pre-mined Chinese giveaway coin, essentially, and you have to join a QQ group, which is this huge Chinese social network.
It's like ICQ.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's really, I don't know what to think about it. I guess it kind of goes back to us not having a great connection to the Chinese coin community,
Right.
because of the language barrier. So it's really hard for me to tell how legitimate these projects are. One thing was funny about this. It said it had a different. It said the thread title mentioned that there was an ICO, but then there was no mention of it in the thread itself. So I'm wondering if that was a Chinese-only ICO or if it was actually they just decided to do a pre-mine distribution. But honestly, there's no way to know. One thing we do know is they announced the launch for tonight in a couple hours. I think actually about 3 hours. It's scheduled to launch. So that's the first big hurdle. We see a lot more, or we see a lot of posts that don't ever launch. So we'll see what happens with InfoCoin.
Yeah.
But it's probably one that we won't see very much of, honestly, because
Right.
it's going to go to Chinese. If it does go to markets, it'll be Chinese markets, and that'll be.
But I mean,
We might see it on Yobit.
if it does go to Yobit, then certainly there's no way to predict its value from this announcement. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
in
that too.
that regard.
It was kind of the futures were kind of the classic. We're going to be the coin that brings crypto to the masses, but we're going to do it with a Bitcoin clone that doesn't really offer any new futures. So
Yeah.
it's a thin premise, in my opinion.
The next one that got posted was Billary, back into
Billary
the
coin.
campaign coins.
Yep.
That seems to be a thing.
It's obviously people are reacting to Trump coin and the silly pump that kind of happened around that. I mean, it's hard to even call it a silly pump. It's a real freaking.
People are making and losing money, right?
Yep, exactly. It's turned into kind of a pretty big market. So we're going to see a lot of coins in the shadow of that. I liked this post. I thought it was funny. I don't know.
They did get listed, so people have been trading it, which is better than 90% of the coins this week.
It's trading at a 12 Bitcoin market cap, which is, I mean, for a year ago that would have been incredibly. That would have been pretty impressively high for a new coin launch. Today it feels pretty standard compared to a lot of what we've seen. But I don't know. I think this thread is really fun. We're gonna see just a lot of I think news and current event type coins in the wake of Trump coin, just because they've shown that you can build a pump around it. And so we're gonna see a lot of people trying to do the same thing. I don't think any of them will be as successful as Trump coin was. So we'll probably see like a rash.
You just feel like that's because it was the first one.
Yeah, if not, I mean the first successful one. There was coins for. I feel like there have been coins similar in the past.
Sure, like Ron Paul coin.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, we're just gonna see a lot of followers. Billary is the coolest one to me. I like it better than Clint, at least. And,
Which also was listed this week.
But BombCoin did pretty well. I haven't been following that one too closely, but that's Billary. It's out there.
I don't see a big difference between them, like unless there's problems with the code that I haven't looked close enough.
They're
to
all
know.
just blockchains.
Right.
Like there's no way
But
to
it's
distinguish
cool.
them.
I really like it. I mean, obviously, I just love this aspect of the crypto game. I really think it's funny when people might post types of things that indicate that the Acoin is destroying crypto by being what it is.
Yeah, totally. And you can't. Crypto's bigger than what any scam developer could hope to destroy. It's a bigger concept, a bigger idea, and the value in these blockchains is there. So it's crypto's bigger than kind of the scams, and it's even with a coin like Billary, it doesn't have to be. People kind of interpret things as being scams based on whether they make or lose money on them.
Sometimes, yeah.
And a blockchain can just be a blockchain, and that's what we're seeing with all these Trump coin knockoff type gimmicks.
Well, yeah, and I mean, when we look back at some of these older blockchains that are still alive, there's certainly ones that fall directly into the same categories that any quote scam unquote
exactly
coin would fall into. They're still alive.
Yep.
The next one that was posted was TrollTokens, which seems kind of interesting right now to me. I'd
TrollTokens is the coin.
And there's another troll coin that I think is called TrollCoin that Not So Fast has been posting about, actually. And so it's funny that this is another troll one. But this one seems to have at least a little bit of interest because they managed to get double listed in 1 week, which means they probably paid for 2 listings, which is pretty good.
TrollCoin has been out for quite a while, and it's more of a tongue-in-cheek, like
TrollTokens has been out for a while?
No, the original TrollCoin.
Okay.
The original TrollCoin.
Sorry.
I see an announcement for February 6, 2014, so that's actually a lot older than I thought.
Oh, okay.
It came out just in the era when Rip-Off Coin came out. There was a lot of coins parodying the state of the altcoin market. Yeah. And then TrollCoin was one of them. And so they were kind of parodying the incredible hype that was going on in coins at the time. But they ended up turning out to be not a serious project, but a project with long-term developers, long-term community.
Still being traded.
Still being traded. That's how they've earned so much support from people like Not So Fast. I never got into it at the time. I was really skeptical of these kind of coins. I didn't understand why people were making these joke blockchains, basically, and I understood why they were making them, but I didn't understand why people were supporting them and buying them and sticking with them. Mm-hmm. And now I kind of get it more in the sense that it's fun, and it's just like a small part of the coin game. And all it takes is a few people to want to place buy orders to create a long-term, store of value.
It's true.
So, TrollCoin's been doing really well. So that kind of takes us back to TrollTokens. Right. I'm disappointed. I didn't see this one. This is
the one you should have your ASIC on, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. I completely missed it. And it would have been, I've been struggling to find something to put my SHA miner on. And this would have been perfect. So
yeah. Well, it still would be. I think it's only in block like 3,000, and it looks like that's going to be prime mining for a while, especially because it's going to remain low profile regardless of anything that happens in the market for a while here.
Yeah, I actually reconfigured it to point to TrollCoin. I just haven't turned it on yet. So nice. I'll have to get around to that. TrollToken rather. Yeah. And it's traded on Yobit now with about 5 to 6 Bitcoin market cap. And that's, I think, is a good point to be at for something that's kind of a parody coin like this.
It's on C-Cex as well.
Is it? Okay, so it got double listed. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Pushing really hard out of the gate like that with a low market cap tells me that could be a lot of potential accumulation.
Right.
And
exactly.
I've often been wrong in trying to analyze accumulation in markets. It's really easy to feel like that's what's going on when it's actually just dumping, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to jump to the conclusion to say that that's what is happening on TrollToken.
Nope, I haven't looked close enough to make that assessment either.
But just for it to come out hard on both exchanges in both of those, C-Cex and Yobit on its first week, I think is a really strong indicator that there might be something brewing beneath the surface on this one.
And the next one up, we cover these as well because sort of
it's fun.
It's not a new coin, but people use the announcement portion of Bitcoin Talk to bring attention to their coin when maybe news is occurring, or if they feel like the community needs a reminder that they exist. So it was how do you think this is said, Brandon?
Guarany. That's how I would say it. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation there, but it's...
Well, I'm going to let you do it instead of me.
Guarany coin, the original Brazilian cryptocurrency, digital currency created by Brazilians.
November 2014 it was created. It looks like it had a takeover here. And they don't offer you a whole bunch more than that, honestly. I don't see what makes this the Brazilian cryptocurrency right off the bat, but that, of course, doesn't determine its value whatsoever.
It came out in a time when region-specific cryptos were a really big thing. They didn't it's kind of funny idea to have a region-specific crypto because crypto is by its nature so decentralized and difficult to regionalize a cryptocurrency. So it's funny for me to see it, but we've seen a lot of old country-themed crypto coins still in the game, still with strong community
I'm looking
support.
at some of the market information here. Very low market cap.
What do you see?
It's only on Blue Trade right now. It's listed with 12 Bitcoin market cap.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit in the middle for a coin these days.
But it's just a straight up coin, no frills, no gimmicks. It's got a Minecraft server. Apparently, that's a classic. I've seen this Minecraft server theme a lot of times. It's funny, but
it's a good example. It's a good example of things to come. I mean, people have used Minecraft just because it was so portable to types of interactions like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's a real way for regular people to add value to a blockchain. If you're a person who likes playing Minecraft and runs a Minecraft server,
that's interesting.
Integrating the blockchain as a payment method is going to add value to that blockchain. It's just a question of how much value can be added by just one, a Minecraft server. But
so anyway, thanks for reminding us you exist. It's always, people are still mining or trading.
Yep, I probably won't be buying any Guarany coin, but
really,
no, but I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see this community still out there and still fighting for their coin.
Let's see.
Next
one.
Nuclear.
This was kind of a takeover because Nuclear Coin was within the last couple weeks. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, we talked about it.
You mined some, right?
Yeah, I did mine it. I started mining it pretty early. I'm disappointed, I guess.
So this is what happens. This is crypto.
Yep.
The dev ditched the thread, said
immediately,
fuck you or whatever.
Yep, just gone. Released a coin and ditched it. It's not. I can't.
But this coin did have a pretty good
intentions.
mining phase, and part of that's reflected by the community's immediate takeover. And so they put a re-announcement thread up, and obviously it was already on exchanges, and people hold the coins. The dev might have dumped what he had, but that doesn't necessarily end the coin.
Yeah, it had a super, super, super front-loaded distribution, really short proof of work, really high rewards. Just a kind of an insta-mine type thing.
Yeah.
I
real trust fall.
I ended up leaving my coins in the pool and didn't take them off. It's just it's whatever is basically my thoughts on Nuclear Coin. Yeah, you take a lot of shots. Some of them are misses. That's one of them. I don't think it really even should be having a takeover. I think they should just.
Wasn't really worth it. You don't think?
Just let it die.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's kind of. I have a similar thoughts on our next coin. The next announcement of the week is Trap Coin.
Spliff Coin.
Yep, this is a takeover of Spliff Coin. Spliff Coin came out last year. I don't know exactly when.
Probably around this time. I mean, I feel like this is just kind of like a 420 push. There's nothing really to it.
Right.
Trap Coin obviously means nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. It has to do with Minecraft. This guy, his plan for the takeover is to do the Minecraft thing. He was going to have it be a Minecraft coin with a Minecraft server.
All right.
But that brings me back to what I just said. That's a pretty small way to add value to a coin, and it's also not very original. There's already tons of people doing that. With Guarany coin that we just talked about being another example.
One of my favorites is Magi XMG. The Fruit Clan has a server that has gambling, a casino.
So yeah, it's a great thing to do for a coin, but it's not something to build a coin around. So I don't see, and he's not changing anything really meaningful in the coin. He's not changing the wallet. You can still use your Spliff Coin wallet. So why do the takeover even? Why not just leave it as Spliff Coin? Say, Spliff Coin's still out here. I'm trading it on my Minecraft server now. And it's funny, I actually still have about 30,000 of these. I got suckered into mining a lot of them in the early days.
Oh, funny.
Similar to how I got into Nuclear Coin. I just, you throw a lot of...
Oh, yeah.
You take a lot of shots out there, and this is one of the ones that was also a miss. It was traded on Safe CEX for a while. I never actually sold any there. And then we know now that Safe CX has had some issues, so it's kind of untraded at this point. Really no way to know what the market interest is, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's pretty low. It's
not anywhere else right now? Or it's not anywhere else right now?
Nope. Never got on Yobit, so that's...
Oh, wow. That's unusual.
Yeah, so that tells you a lot.
It's confusing. It doesn't tell me much. It makes my head spin, though.
So, yeah, I think it's probably just going to keep going down. I don't think we're going to see much out of this.
The next one posted was Ion.
Ion. Another ICO.
Whew.
I mean, look at this. Look at this coin. It's firing on all cylinders. It's got they're checking all the boxes. They really want this to be following in the wake of Lisk and these other huge ICOs.
Right.
And I don't like it. Going back to what I said last week, I don't like all these. I just think it's a bad time for investors to be buying IPOs.
Yeah. I can hear you.
It's and it just seems like in terms of the way they've designed it to just kind of please everybody. They want to hit all of the bases, talk about having a big community, all this other stuff. So I don't know. I just think it's a stupid coin. I don't think you should be investing in this coin in this market right now. And I'm not trying just to bash these guys. If there's
I hear you. I mean, I'm going to throw all my money in there anyway. I don't care.
Yeah. What Jukely's already completely all in. So no,
I'm kidding.
just kidding. One thing that was really funny about this coin was the white paper, though. Some of these bounties are like, you go in the white paper, which is supposed to be kind of outlining what's so amazing about your coin, and the white paper for Ion has just a list of bounties in it. It has some other stuff, but
so it's not even developed.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's got a bounty for developing smart contracts. Like, you're talking about something that's like one of the holy grails of crypto technology, something that people have been spending millions of dollars trying to develop all over the place. And you're saying that you're going to do an IPO and you're going to throw it under a bounty. You're not even the person who's capable of doing it. Why should we give you the money? If you know the person who can develop the smart contracts, then
get that guy out
yeah,
here.
Exactly. That's the person I want to invest in, not somebody who takes these really important futures and dumps them in a list of bounties and says, well, whatever. So
I hear you there, man.
So I'm really skeptical of Ion, and that's how I feel.
Well, that's great. That's more than that's more than I even feel about this thing. I don't even know.
You're numb. Would you say you're numb to IPOs at this point?
Yeah. Especially ones that just claim to offer you the world on a platter. Doesn't make any sense. I can understand. I think Lisk could be pretty good, because they actually have some interesting ideas. But when people are not describing their ideas fully and different things like that, oh my goodness.
Yeah, when it's just like a generic list of ideas and then no specific plan, no idea what they're gonna do with the money. Whatever, Yeah. The market
probably means it'll be the biggest one and we'll be left in the dust, right?
Right. The natural. Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the one that's just staring us in the face and we're laughing at it. But
yeah,
I don't think that's the case.
No. This next one was called Hours, and this guy seemed pretty ambitious, but there wasn't a lot of discussion about how he would intend to enact his big ideas.
Yeah, so Hours, the theme on this one is that it's going to be a coin that is used as a token to represent community service hours worked. So for people who sometimes people get fined in community service, the idea is that it would mediate those transactions, or potentially you could just do community service and then be compensated for it through some method, which I like this in terms of, a new idea for a way to implement a blockchain. I don't really see how it could realistically, practically be implemented. But the closest, this reminds me of ParkByte. Do you remember that?
I remember the idea, yeah, the parking token.
Yeah, ParkByte came out and they're like, oh, we're going to be a token that people can use to validate parking. Okay, that's a cool idea. But how are you going to make it real? And so ParkByte, they really did a lot of work on it. It was around for a long time. I don't know where it's at now.
Me neither.
But I know it did trade for a long time. It did really well. But the difference between those two for me, and this is a big one, is that Hours is leading out with ICO, and ParkByte led out with huge pre-mine. A lot of coins get really dogged for doing large pre-mines and stuff. But if it's a coin that has a specific purpose and an outline for how that's going to be utilized, I think it's fine. And I think it's actually a lot better to use a pre-mine, because with Hours, they're essentially saying that they want the money. They don't want to work for it. They're just going to get some Bitcoin for it. They're going to give some people some hours, and that's it. They don't have any incentive really to keep working on their coin. When you do the huge pre-mine thing, if it's actually a long-term project and they can verify that they're not just in it to do a pre-mine dump on Yobit or whatever, it puts them in a position where they have to put in the work to add value to that blockchain. If they want to make money off that pre-mine, they have to do it by adding value to the blockchain one way or the other. And so I just feel like for an ambitious project with really ambitious goals that is kind of nebulous in terms of how they might be accomplished, doing a big pre-mine is a lot more believable and a lot better for me than ICO. So because of that, I don't really trust.
Yeah, I understand what you
ours.
mean there. Pre-mine almost, you believe in yourself a little more than
Yeah, exactly.
ICO.
Pre-mine, you can verify a lot of things to an extent that's a lot better than an ICO. It's like ICOs, in a way, is kind of an old way of doing things, an old world, old business tactic of, I'm going to release this coin, I need money, so give me some money so I can do it. And it's like there's no accountability, the blockchain isn't involved anywhere in terms of that distribution and of the IPO, right? That's all totally off of the blockchain in question. But a pre-mine is completely on the blockchain, and it requires the person in the project to create the value within that blockchain. So I think
I do understand what you're saying.
a lot of coins get a lot of crap for high pre-mines, and they deserve it because a lot of times they're just trying to dump it on Yobit. But I think as an actual vehicle for long-term projects, I think it's underexplored at this point, and I'd like to see more big pre-mine as the basis for the development fund.
Yeah. The next one that was posted was AtomCoin, which this is more of a warning than anything.
Yep, this is just a big virus, a stupid virus coin.
Yep. So hopefully not many people downloaded that. But
Yeah, it's funny.
He didn't. You can tell if anybody had trouble telling types of things, like he didn't actually format the post to have his correct coin name.
Yeah, he just copied another announcement, dumped it in with a different name, didn't change anything. It's just garbage. So sorry if anybody got hit by the virus, but
the next one was just yet another worthless shit coin.
YAWS, yet another worthless shit coin.
And I actually would have posted it in here if it wouldn't have given it one more bump, because
Right.
he was asking ways that he could make it shittier, and honestly, what I thought would have been pretty great is if he
Nice.
never launched it.
Oh, nice. That's a funny idea. But he did launch it?
Yeah.
So that's funny. So it's just I see that there's no pools, so it must be him and whoever else is solo mining it, I guess.
Oh yeah, I have no idea if the network's going well, but he did launch it, and I think it could have been shittier, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really funny that the idea of asking for ways to make it shittier, I think, is pretty funny. So that's a funny premise, but that doesn't seem to be a lot of follow through or anything else. So there you have it.
NoirShares.
NoirShares. I didn't see this. What's the story on this?
This is just a relaunch of an older coin with the same name. So this is NoirShares 2.0, I suppose.
Okay.
They're changing algorithms. They're actually going to SHA 256D.
I like that.
It says that they have an import of balances.
Okay, so it is a swap situation.
Yeah, you're
must
gonna. It looks like it's pretty simple though. You actually just dump your private key and then re-import it to the new wallet, which is pretty convenient.
I don't see any details I wonder what the gimmick of the original NoirShares was. I don't see any info to that. Is it
It's not included in this post, that's for sure.
somebody? Apparently, it was at one point listed on Poloniex. I wonder if that is still the case. Let's see.
Why don't you give it a look?
NoirShares, are you still on Polo?
In the meantime, I'll think about.
They are. No, they're not. It took me. It loaded a page, so I thought that it meant they were still traded, but it dropped me into the AMP page, so it must not be. That's funny. So NoirShares off Polo, trying to do a revival with a coin swap.
Not so noir.
Yeah, not so noir. It was February of 2014 was the launch on that.
This next one actually I thought was kind of interesting, but I didn't take the time or risk to try it out.
What's the coin?
It's called Facile coin.
Facile
coin.
The launch, he called it human mineable coin in the launch title, and then in the thread, he calls it, I think it's Facile coin.
Like a facsimile, like a fax machine, right?
I don't think
That's what
so.
it reminds me of.
I don't know what it means. Let's see. Facile.
But basically, what the biggest difference here is that when you look at the website, you find that the blocks move forward by humans solving a puzzle similar to those little plastic ones where you move the blocks around and try to match up the picture, basically.
Yep.
So the block average time is 2 hours on this chain, and he says that time is derived from the average time it takes a human player to solve the puzzle.
That's cool. Well, I
really am going to still try to take the time to obviously I have to spin up a new virtual machine, which I'm lazy about, and just like get it going, but it'd be dope just to try out this software, honestly. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it would be fun too, and I really am into people doing experimental blockchains and trying to come up with any new way to validate a blockchain. So human mineable, I think it's cool.
One thing that crossed my mind though, my conspiracy mind was
right.
like if you develop a puzzle right, you could know such an easy way to solve it.
Oh right, right. He
see.
could game the solution.
he might know how to solve the puzzle in like 2 minutes.
And in theory, a blockchain would be the solution to that, an open source blockchain, because the nature of the puzzle's out there for everybody to see. But that's in theory. So people have snuck all kinds of stuff into blockchains.
Well, and that might end up being the truth about why a machine mineable thing is more realistic than a human mineable one, because machines are a little bit more standardized.
Yeah, predictable.
Yeah.
Yep, totally. That's a good thought. I kind of agree.
But people have found plenty of machine shortcuts too with mining.
Yeah.
And they usually use them until they can't anymore. But that sounds like an interesting one. It'll be interesting if this one's around in a month. I hope I have a few of them.
Yeah, this is the kind of coin where it's probably more likely to go straight to zero, never be listed, than it is to actually ever get to exchange or really build up a market cap. But if it does, it's also the kind of coin that can easily break out of that 5 to 10 Bitcoin doldrums that a lot of new coins get into, just because it is bringing something new to the table.
Yep. And they might actually be difficult to get.
Yep, and they could have 2-hour blocks. I mean, geez, that tells you everything.
Not really. A lot of people are going to spend 2 hours on a puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
The next one was called Rise.
Rise coin. It's a Lisk clone.
I don't even understand how people are cloning Lisk before it's even been successful.
Yeah, it's advertised as a Lisk clone. Are they gonna do you have to wait for Lisk to launch and then wait for these guys to clone it, and then it's like, no, here, come get your Rise coin.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
I feel like this was
very sketchy.
I think these guys wanted to be the big IPO of the month type. They wanted to really have this big, huge hype IPO, but then I think IXCoin kind of ruined it in a way. IXCoin and also Ion already came out this week, so they got beaten to the punch with another super hypey kind of, I don't know, stupid IPO. And then they also had this IXCoin disaster kind of renew people's skepticism in IPOs. So we're starting to see finally some people being like, I'm just not going to take the chance.
So, and this is a pre-announcement as well, so I'm sure we'll see. We'll probably talk about it again. And,
I don't know. It seems like it didn't get nearly the attention they wanted.
Well, maybe we won't, but...
Hey, we'll find out.
The next one up is called DigitalPrice. This is also a re-announcement. I remember the original posting of this. I remember it being traded on C-Cex.
Nice.
It actually had a really profitable original mining phase is basically all I remember about it. And I can't speak too much to its history beyond that.
Yep, DigitalPrice, it's just out there.
Looks like it's on Blue Trade now exclusively. How's that coin market cap look on that?
Let's check it out. DigitalPrice, coin market cap, 7 Bitcoins. Very low profile.
Very low. And of course it's gone up in the last little bit there too. It looks like it was actually at 24-ish Satoshi for a while there, but the zero volume, so I don't know if anyone ever got any at that 24.
What's the price on it now? The bids looks like
186.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here is coin came out for a long time, was at an incredibly low market cap, like unbelievably low for a long time. The price went up and then they re-announced it.
Yep.
So that's
it's a little late.
A little late. A little. It'd be tough to want to buy that. I think if you're somebody trying to pull off that kind of a move, maybe give other people a little bit of time to get in, just so that they're not as suspicious. Maybe of.
If people are just doing volume, though, you might be able to just kind of do some swing trading in that type of market, right?
Yeah, potentially. But I mean, are they going to do? We haven't seen much of that on Blue Trade.
Blue Trade doesn't do a ton of volume,
and so I definitely wouldn't expect to see it on DigitalPrice. I think this is just somebody trying to get any bids they can.
Just give me a little bit.
Yeah, I need a bid.
I've always got buy on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah, there it is. That's DigitalPrice for you.
BombCoin was up next, and this one I think went through some drama even this week or something silly.
It got launched with a lot of the
It had a follow-up post, I think a warning.
The usual virus, questions, confusion.
Probably a bot account.
Yep. Yeah, people really don't like to see these old. People don't like to see it when it's like a really old account that has been inactive for a year and a half, and then it launches a coin. It's like how at least it's funny. Why can't these people at least make like 10 posts and then launch the coin or something? They're so lazy.
Honestly, I hardly care about any of that because when I look at the statistics of this coin, it's just not going to be worth a lot.
Yeah, 7% pre-mine. This tells me that it's so going back to what I said earlier about how I kind of like the idea of large pre-mines for development, but you have to be careful of the large pre-mines that are just there to dump. This is almost certainly one of the ones that is just there to dump. But they also have gotten their feet on the ground in a sense. The mining is going now. It seems like people are kind of warming up to it.
The mining's going okay.
Yep. So it's too early to rule it out. I definitely won't be buying any. Might have been okay to mine if you could, or if you're one of the insta miners, you might get an okay return on it. But that's probably going to be the end of the story there.
It's true. And Brandon doesn't lie, just like an elephant.
Yep.
Or wait,
elephants never forget. I don't think it's George Washington that never told a lie, allegedly.
That wasn't an elephant.
No, I think
the famous Ringling Brothers elephant.
Yeah, in order to lie, I think you have to be able to actually communicate. But
that's right.
I wonder if elephants can lie to each other.
I'm sure they trick each other into like
doing
all
stuff,
sorts of hilarious
getting
things.
weird. Elephants getting weird. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, the reason we're talking about elephants is because a coin called IXCoin was announced this week. This is an ETH token, allegedly. It seems weird because if it is an ETH token, I think that's pretty cool. But it just seems like they made a post and that's it. That's how I feel about this.
It's like, is this one of the first? It's probably not even one of the first, but is this an ETH shit?
an ETH shitcoin? I don't know. Well, so on the one hand, yeah, it's got a lot of red flags. On the other hand, compare it to a normal shitcoin. First off, there's nothing launched here. There's nothing to download to give you a virus or whatever. So that's not the angle.
Yep.
There's nothing to build up hype. There's no fancy images. There's just a bunch of text.
Yep.
So that's not the angle. But then we go into the resources, the website, the wiki, the Twitter.
And it's real.
The Facebook. And it's real. It's actually stuff that exists.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So this tells me this is one to watch. I said the same thing. I said about human mineable coin that a kind of a coin like this is very likely to just be nothing and never be heard from again.
It's happened before.
If this is the coin that isn't, if this is the coin that they're just keeping a low profile early and they're actually going to launch this blockchain, then I think it could be actually a huge.
This is a good one to check out.
Exactly. I think that keeping an eye on IXCoin, if there's anything to keep an eye on this week, I think that's the one.
Nice. Yeah. These ones were kind of getting announced close to getting towards the show. The Acid was launched.
Acid.
And this is SHA 256.
A lot of those.
This is not likely to be one that I'm going to be interested in. 10% pre-mine. I mean,
it's just. I thought I had some notes on this one. I don't see them now, but.
And once again, it's that same thing where the account hasn't posted anything for a long time, and then it's like, bam.
Yeah, it seems like this guy's just throwing out a ton of blockchains, and he wants to see what sticks, essentially, see what he can get a free exchange listing on, and then dump. So, IXCoin, not impressed.
We run the community itself, the altcoin game, runs kind of an interesting balance between wanting anybody to be able to post anything almost anonymously,
right,
and also the need to validate like actual projects.
Right, exactly.
And I guess that's part of the game.
It's the nature of being on Bitcoin Talk too. We kind of talked about how Bitcoin Talk is like it's an unusual vehicle for kind of the the level of market activity that's going on. It's like there's these huge, incredible markets, these huge, incredible blockchain stuff going on, and Bitcoin Talk remains the vehicle for so much of the news and announcements and discussion to be carried through. And stuff, the coins like this, IXCoin and all this stuff, kind of, it stems from that. It's like it gives people a chance to. It's like it creates an equilibrium almost. I think like people, there's all this money that's going into blockchains, and so because so much of this info is funneled through Bitcoin Talk, people are going to want to take advantage of that. They're going to release their own scammy blockchains, or they're going to release their own huge pre-mines, and they're just going to keep doing it again and again and again because there's no cost and there's no risk for them.
I wonder if there's a space for like, because I definitely understand the need for there to be something like Bitcoin Talk where anyone can, like, everybody's just posting anything that has to do with Bitcoins or blockchains whatsoever. And some of it's, 80% of it's not, because it doesn't last more than 2 weeks from what we've kind of learned. But I also wonder if there's like some, and we've tried this before, right, as a community with like crypto Asian stuff. Like there has to be some way to validate things at some point. Maybe that's just time.
Yeah,
the market itself has to validate the what's happening within these things because nobody else can do it apparently.
Yeah, I think maybe it just comes with the territory of the decentralized nature of everything and the low barriers to entry, that like any method that you could use to try to address or mitigate the fact that any shitcoin developer can release as many shitcoins as they want. Like any remedy that you try to use to address that is something for somebody else to gain, just a new little hurdle for a shitcoin developer to overcome. And we haven't seen like a solution to that develop yet, and who knows if we will. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I certainly can't think of one, but I can see how right now, we're getting back to that point where when we were looking at, when I look up the birthdays, for example, there's certain periods of the last 2 years where there's not a lot of announcements.
Yeah, not a lot going on.
We're seeing a lot of announcements in the last, 5 weeks.
Since the Ethereum pump, really.
Yeah.
It took it took a little time after the pump started for the markets to kind of catch up to what was happening, but since then we've seen just a steady stream of constant, pretty much at least one coin a day. Actually, one blockchain actually launched per day, and we've seen just so freaking many of them. And as easy it is to complain about the crap coins and how much they muddy the waters, I would sooner live in a world where we're seeing a new coin released every day than a world where we don't see any new coins released at all. So, I'm still having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, believe me, I'm having fun. I mean, one of the most hilarious things about it is that it's all comes down to the money at the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. Oftentimes the technology is just a smokescreen for the market itself.
Big time. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that interpretation of the markets.
So, I mean, I try not to think too much about like missed profits and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
When I was a younger trader, I fell into that sort of mentality more often than I do now, where I would be like, damn it, I would have made this.
Yeah, if I would have just held this, but I should have held it. I should have held it. It's like you sell something, you make a little bit of profit, it goes up 10x, and you're like, oh man, I should have held it. Should you?
Yeah.
I don't like to complain about a good profit, I guess. That's one of my rules in trading. But.
Well, and that's also how, that mentality is how that market gets you to buy back in at a price that you thought was a sell 5 minutes ago.
That fear of missing out is also what drives these new crap coins, because you see a new announcement. They're usually, not very distinguishable. The legitimate projects aren't distinguishable really from
sometimes intentionally.
Spam. Yeah, often intentionally. And so, as a person, you have to just kind of take the chance. You have to accept that you're going to take some losses on these coins. And you just have to try not to take it personally. You have to realize these people who release these crappy coins are doing it for good reasons, kind of from their perspective or for whatever their situation is.
Definitely.
And so you can't really fault them for releasing the crap coins. You have this Bitcoin Talk driven news system that makes it completely possible. You have the markets that incentivize it. you gotta just
It
expect
is a real
to keep-
economy.
Yeah, you have to expect it to keep happening. So it's going to.
Lana coin was launched. Of course, this is it? I wonder. This has the same letters as Nala, which gosh is funny to me.
That's interesting. Was Nala coin the previous? This is a coin for my daughter coin, and now
No, that was his girlfriend.
Oh, Nala was the girlfriend coin,
Yeah,
and now we have Lana coin, which is for a daughter. Ooh.
I'm making up the connection, but
I think that's a great little tidbit. I mean, those are not at least in our culture, those aren't common names. So it could be that this person is using this as a gimmick to kind of play on people's emotions, or it could be a coin that somebody made for his 10-year-old daughter.
But once again, that kind of talks back. Anybody can make anything, and Bitcoin Talk is where you're going to announce this type of thing. And Blockchain Dynamics is going to be here to tell you the coolest, newest blockchains.
Yep, we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about them whether they're cool. We're going to talk about them whether they're crap, and hopefully we'll keep up with the cool ones and leave the crappy ones behind.
Nala's still trading somewhere.
Is it really? Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
That's funny.
Let's see. I think it's on Yobit. I'm going to check real quick. Nope, I'm not going to. I can't find it.
Oh well.
Give up. I think that's pretty much all the new ones we're going to talk about this week.
Yep, that's it for our new announcements. Let's see. Going back through it for me, if I'm gonna keep my eyes on stuff, I'm gonna be watching Billary.
Yeah.
I am gonna be
at
watching
least for a little bit here.
I'm probably gonna mine some troll tokens.
TrollTokens looks like a good one for ASIC mining too.
Yep, exactly. Just keep.
I feel like there's gonna be a point where you could sell for more profit than your Bitcoin at least.
Right, exactly. You just gotta wait it out. Wait for the time to strike.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of them. Or keep them. Whatever. Do whatever you want. Let's see. I don't think I'm gonna be watching.
Hey, it's your life.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I don't think I'm gonna be watching one of these. I'll probably try to watch Human Mineable Coin. It might be tough to keep up with if it stays low profile.
I'd like to check that one out. I mean, I don't think I clicked that Ray Blocks thing in all week.
Oh no.
So lazy, dude.
I got to get those Ray Blocks. Ray Blocks is looking solid.
I know. All you need to do is take the time to go click the thing, and I just
haven't done it.
It's hard to do. That's why it's worth something.
Well, that's part of being in crypto. There's more than you can possibly do. I've been really frustrated these past couple of weeks just with, to some extent, my inability to keep up with all of the stuff that I want to do in crypto, and that's just another thing you have to come to terms with. How to focus your attention on the stuff that's really important can be a major challenge.
Oh, and you definitely won't. Same with selling your coins too low or high. You'll never. I guess you never worry about selling your coins
you never
too
know
high.
what their thing is. Are you getting a timeout on Bitcoin Talk?
Let me give it I didn't a moment ago. Let me give it a little new tab here.
Oh, it just came back. So
thank goodness.
For me, I guess the most interesting coin this week was Elephant Coin, which is funny to me.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
It's funny to me
4
because...
posts or so?
Yeah, it's only got 4 posts in the thread. Almost nothing to see, but that, a way...
they're actually sort of organized.
A
little bit organized, a little bit...
Yeah, it just seems like this coin is under control.
We're definitely... It seems like neither of us have gotten into any Ethereum tokens yet, but
right.
It's been interesting because... the value of them has kind of become more apparent as we've realized that it basically eliminates the need for additional infrastructure.
I mean, if they get to the point of releasing it,
but then it will
be highly valuable.
We've seen a couple things with direct purposes. The Elephant Coin hasn't expressed its direct purpose yet. It seems totally speculative in that regard, right?
Yep, that's completely true. I don't see any statement of intention, but it goes back to kind of this idea of the good coins are going to be disguised as nothing, and the bad coins are going to try to be disguised as good coins a lot of the time.
It's so true.
And so, just
We've
looking
seen
at this
for
post,
years now.
They released all, they've got all these links to real websites. They've got the real social media accounts, and then there hasn't been any follow through. There hasn't been any. He's not spamming the thread. He's not spamming anything to try to get people's attention. It's like they did a lot of work and they're not trying to get attention. That, in my mind, is what makes this interesting.
Huh. Good observations.
So we'll see what happens with Acoin. They could come out in 2 weeks with all the huge roadmap, fancy graphics, the whole...
A picture of an elephant?
Exactly. But what bugs me about it is I don't know how to get in on it. Even if...
It's not very clear.
Yeah, even if this idea that I have that maybe there's something more under the hood here is correct, I don't know how I can take advantage of that information to actually get any profit.
One thing that happened this week was a listing on Bittrex that did not go well.
IXCoin. Really, a really funny situation. They paid for the Bittrex ICO.
Yep.
Which we don't see very much of anymore.
Not nowadays. I remember a lot back in the day.
They did a big Slack Q&A session or whatever, a big hype session. They they went through all the motions. They set up the escrow IPO. They set up all kinds of other stuff, and then they disappeared. Classic move. Just kind of
deleted the website, deleted everything.
Deleted everything. Just disappeared. Just took the money and ran. Allegedly 220 Bitcoins. Some guy lost. One person.
Yeah, that was the story that I guess we heard, was that somebody might have tried to buy off of the Bittrex market, which was escrowed by Bittrex, obviously. So people nobody got.
I find it really hard to believe that somebody sent 220 Bitcoins to an unescrowed IPO address.
So what's the other answer though? That they just didn't get anything? Because they certainly didn't get anything from Bittrex.
They probably bought their own coin. I mean, that's what all of the IPOs do, right?
But that would be nothing.
Right, exactly. So nothing.
They got nothing? It was just a wash?
Exactly.
They gave up?
Exactly. Well, they got whatever they got. I think the 220 Bitcoin potentially was just them trying to goad other people into sending money to this unescrow address, because they knew the Bittrex address was going to get refunded out. So they were just
trying to... So you think there might have been dust in that 220 that...
No, I think that they sent 220. I think that this is wild speculation, but I think it's more likely to me.
That's my favorite type.
Yeah, the wildest speculation, the best kind. It's more likely to me that the people in charge of the IXCoin sent 220 Bitcoins to their own account to try to generate hype around the unescrowed IPO address.
To get a little dust into that account.
Yeah, to get other people to follow. Okay, right.
I hear you.
So I think that that's probably more likely than somebody just showing up and being like, oh, I'm going to send... What? How much money is that worth? $8,000? $80,000?
You'd think somebody might be like, "Yeah, that was me."
Yeah, like $80,000. I don't think so. But if you did lose 220 Bitcoins to these unsavory characters, then I really I feel for you. But man, you gotta talk about just a huge blunder. So there you have it, ICO. But on the other hand, I think that the silver lining on this IXCoin disaster is that we're seeing a lot more skepticism of all the new IPOs this week. And this is the first stage of, we talked about last week a lot about all these IPOs that are coming out in the shadow of the big pumps.
Yes.
This is the first stage of that going the other way. We're going to see the outright scams. People are going to get ripped off. Yep. They're going to be really noisy about it.
Yep.
And it's going to get to the point where people aren't even interested in these new IPOs at all anymore. And so that's the equilibrium that the market needs to get to. So I'm looking forward to us getting there, and IXCoin brings us a little closer to it. So as much as I feel for the people who
good perspective,
as much as I feel for the people who got burned on this one, you guys you're part of the cycle.
And so I marked on my calendar April 20th, 2016.
Wednesday. I think a lot of people marked that day on their calendar.
The day that Brandon Dudge became bullish on Bitcoin.
Yep, it's true. It's true. Actually, I talked to Jukely on Wednesday, and I was like, I finally am a bull on Bitcoin again. When it had that huge pump in November last year, shot up to like 550 and was just on that straight up trajectory, and then we saw it crash back down to 290 or whatever in like a day, and then it came right back up to back over 400. But for me, that's a really telltale indicator in markets that essentially that stage of whatever the pump was going on was over. Essentially, that huge vertical climb that we saw where it went from 250 straight up over 500. That signaled that being over, and oftentimes on pump coins, that signals the end of the pump. Is when you see that huge breakout up, huge crash with a rebound almost to the peak price. That's a really huge bearish indicator for me, and so that kind of triggered me to say that okay, I'm gonna switch mostly from doing long positions to doing short positions on Bitcoin. And I personally expected it to be back into the 300s, maybe even the low 300s by now. And so to see just how well the market has held this 400 floor for like, geez, 5-6 months at this point.
You're seeing a lot of buying.
Exactly. I thought that it would be like 6 months of kind of a slow down.
Did you see that a Steam video game platform is going to start accepting Bitcoin?
I did see that. That's such awesome news. Like,
That's gonna be really fun.
anything, I mean, that's just going to be, that's huge news. That's really,
Because now that there's these payment processors, companies don't really care.
yeah, it's a great platform, and
That makes no difference to them. They're getting US dollars anyway, so they don't even have to make the decision necessarily.
I mean, back in the
It's
day,
like, do you
I
want
used
more
to-
business?
I used to trade Bitcoin for Steam cards back like when I first was into mining, and I was like looking before I started selling Bitcoin straight for US dollar on Coinbase. I just cashed out everything into gift cards. And so I had to use this dumb Steam, well, not dumb, it was a cool site, but I had to use a website to trade Bitcoin for Steam gift cards. So to actually be able to buy games on Steam directly with Bitcoin, for me, is exciting.
It's really cool.
So, and yep, I did officially switch to being bullish on Bitcoin after the spike this week. It's clear to me that initial spike to 500 was not like that. In this case, that did not signal the end of whatever's going on. There's something really big, it seems like, going on with the Bitcoin market. I know a lot of people are really skeptical of the Bitcoin market right now because of the block size issue, because of the success of Ethereum. But I think that these markets are a lot bigger than that. They're a lot bigger than
Could it be just the same
any
with,
one news issue.
The same with Bitcoin as it is with other coins, where the technology might not actually be as important in the end?
Totally. I totally think so. I mean, not that the technology isn't important, especially with Bitcoin, but
Well, the basis is very important.
right,
The
application maybe.
the fact that the blockchain is secure is very important.
Yeah, the fact that the block size isn't big enough right now, to me, doesn't just mean that Bitcoin needs to die, or the fact that there's a dispute.
No, it is what it is. I mean,
It just is what it is. And in terms of what the market is doing, like, I just feel like if that 550 peak represented the peak of whoever's manipulating this market, if that $550 peak represented the peak of their intentions with Bitcoin, it's followed a really weird trajectory since. I would have expected it to be a lot lower right now, and they would essentially be getting out. But instead, it looks like they're just ready to push it higher and higher and higher. So for now, I'm as long as I can be. I guess I don't do any margin trading anymore. But I'm definitely thinking it's gonna break past that 550 peak at least.
it's sure fun to watch, man. I think you were correct. I still see people saying both directions, but I think you were correct about your assessment that altcoins don't go down when Bitcoin goes down. Because I mean, some of them did for a while. Like we had a week where there was like a cool off 2 weeks.
Right.
But
I don't think that was tied to the Bitcoin market.
It doesn't feel like it to me, man.
They respond to I believe that the pumps on a lot of these smaller tier coins do respond to where Ethereum is in the pump cycle, because the Ethereum pump is kind of the anchor for a lot of the activity that's going on in the altcoin scene, in kind of my interpretation of the market. And so when we see Ethereum volume dip, I think we're going to see across the board drops in altcoins. But for some reason, Bitcoin and its relationship with altcoins has always felt different to me. They seem to surge in sync in terms of, not in sync, but almost, I would say there's about a 6-month lag on altcoins responding to what happens with Bitcoin, maybe a little less, maybe 3-4 months, where you see Bitcoin will spike and altcoins will kind of stay the same. But then you'll start to see the huge, steady, real rise in altcoin volume, values, prices, just kind of across the board. And typically with individual coins, when you watch them, you'll see that their price, when Bitcoin goes up, the price of an individual coin against Bitcoin usually doesn't drop. It usually goes up. So the actual value of the coin usually goes up in lockstep kind of with Bitcoin, and often exceeds the rate of growth of Bitcoin, right? We've seen so many alts in the past 3 or 4 months that have, not only has Bitcoin gone up, but these alts have gone up relative to Bitcoin. So it's just been a huge spike there, whereas a lot of people would think that if Bitcoin's going up, alts are going down, and vice versa. I don't see that in the market, but I do see the altcoin market going up and down with Ethereum, which is interesting to me.
Huh. I definitely haven't been looking at Ethereum that way.
And for me, the reason, the justification for that is because Ethereum has brought a ton of new volume and interest into the markets. And so other markets are responding to try to get a share of it. And so essentially Bitcoin brings a lot of people into the Bitcoin. When Bitcoin pumps, a lot of people get brought into the Bitcoin ecosystem. That brings money and volume to those markets. Now they have this Bitcoin. And eventually a percentage of that Bitcoin eventually makes its way into the altcoin markets. And that's why you see, in my opinion, why you see these surges of activity in the altcoin markets. In this case, it was an incredible amount of Bitcoin directed into the Ethereum market. And you're seeing everybody fighting for a share of that. And once that money leaves the Ethereum market, if it leaves the Ethereum market, there'll be a little collapse. But as always, I don't think, like I said, I think it really looks strongly positioned to start climbing again. And so for me, that means in 3 to 4 months, I would not be surprised to see another round of just ridiculous altcoin pumps.
Yeah, I feel you there. It's interesting to me. I know that a lot of people out there have different opinions and probably wouldn't agree with me on this, but I don't think that... Well, I wish that altcoins could be marketed kind of as a whole in a different way than just as like cryptocurrencies.
Right.
Because currencies is definitely not what they are.
Right, yeah, currency is...
But it also can't be represented like specifically as gambling because of different things. And it's kind of funny. It's this nebulous space, right?
Right, totally. Yeah, it's
its own thing.
Yeah, it's completely unlike, it really is completely unlike anything else that's out
there. But there's got to be a way to eventually bring more people in and explain to them, like, you can buy Bitcoins and then you can participate in this cool activity that you might be able to increase your Bitcoin with if you follow signs and get lucky.
And the existence of Ethereum helps with that, just because it gives people Ethereum, when it's not really traded very much against regular currency, I don't think, but I think when it does get to that point, that'll be another avenue for people to get into altcoins in general.
That's a good point, yeah. And we more ETH versus other markets.
Right, yeah. Well, because people are going to be, it's like people buy Bitcoin and then they're like, okay, I'm sitting on Bitcoin, what am I going to do with it? Oh, here's Poloniex, here's Bittrex, I can send it over there and have some fun. So I think you'll start to see that when people start doing Ethereum trading directly. And I would like to see ETH denominated markets. We talked about that last week, and I really want to see ETH denominated markets.
One thing we talked about it in relation to was the Espers airdrop.
Right. Yep.
So did you get your Espers or not?
Nope, I didn't get any Espers.
No.
Like I said, I've kind of been lapsing, and I've made some mistakes the past week in terms of just being where I need to be when I need to be to get in on some of these coins.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned, it was going to be not worth a lot because there was a lot of them. So each airdrop participant, I think, got 300 million.
Nice. That's funny.
And it did start trading on a Litoshi market on Nova Exchange, which is a small new exchange.
Okay.
So that's happening.
Do you know what the price is in Litoshi?
Like 6 Litoshi.
Nice, 6 Litoshi, but...
So it was like a $5 airdrop or so.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool, honestly. I'm happy to see it trading on the Litoshi market. I was worried that Espers would go straight to Satoshi market and just get crushed.
Litoshi.
Yeah, I was worried that it would only get listed on a Satoshi market.
Oh, yeah.
And then get crushed. So for this new exchange to come out and throw up a Litoshi market for it is interesting.
Smart.
Makes me wonder. I mean, most new exchanges don't even do Litoshi markets, so...
It'd be nice. I haven't traded on Nova yet. We haven't been covering Nova yet, and I haven't been trading on it, but it's certainly popped up maybe 3 times in the last 2 months for me in different ways. So maybe I'll start keeping an eye on that. Takes a little while to gain trust.
They were trading that nuclear coin was traded on Nova before it went down. So it's maybe Nova Exchange is just trying to capture a little attention, which I respect.
But we're slow to adopt things.
I guess I think we're ahead of a lot of people, but definitely not the earliest adopters in crypto.
Old.
Yeah, just a couple of old fuddy duddies.
I was going to mention Postcoin, which is the altcoinboard.com's coin that was given away through Bitcoin Talk. Their giveaway ended, and in conjunction with the ending, they burnt 49% of the coins on the chain, which is pretty significant for a coin like that.
That's huge. Just not enough participants for the giveaway, basically, that situation?
I guess they would have given them all away if some more people had participated, but I don't know if it's like a not enough situation. It seems like for people that got them, it's a good thing. Right,
it's just that was the number of coins, and that was the number that didn't get out, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That's interesting news. I'm interested in Postcoin. I'm excited to see where that one goes. We, of course, have a thread on the Postcoin forum if you guys want to check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess we'll just have to see where it goes. It's so tough to build a long-term community,
Right.
compared to just building an altcoin and doing a dump
It's definitely
pump or
more
whatever.
than just
That's
making
easy.
a forum.
Yeah, exactly. Doing releasing an altcoin and buying a couple of Bitcoins worth to mess with the market, that's pretty easy. Actually building a community with active participation long term, that's really hard. So
Well, we'll do our part.
yep. So yeah, we're out there. We're gonna, we'll do our part. We'll see what happens with it. One funny thing I noticed this week, Yobit did a little update of their interface that causes on the sidebar where all the coins are listed. Anytime there's a trade on that market, there's a little blink.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see which markets have trading going on.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happened is it's kind of exposed to people just how fucking fake a lot of this volume is. It's funny. It's one of the least well kept secrets in crypto that almost all the volume on these exchanges is just people self-trading to kind of drive attention to themselves. And one really funny thing that happened after Yobit made this change is Brain had just gotten listed, and this dude was like, the bot on this market was trading like constantly, like 5 times a second for almost like an hour, and it brought everyone's attention to how fake it was. There's a bunch of posts on Bitcoin Talk of people being like, "Oh, this is a huge scam" or whatever. And it's funny that it's like, this kind of fake volume has been going on since long before Yobit, put a little blinking light to make you see it happen. Like, it's like every single major market has tons of faked volume, and that's just how it is. It's really tough to get people's attention in crypto, and the easiest way to do that is to have a lot of volume on a popular exchange. And so for people, in terms of how do I spend my marketing dollars? Oh, well, I could spend $10 on banner ads, or I could spend $10 on fees on Yobit to generate a ton of fake volume. It seems like the way these markets work that faking the volume is a better form of marketing than actual conventional marketing. So I think that's funny. It's just a weird little thing that's been happening in the market. We're gonna see. There's never gonna be an end to fake volume on these markets, and it's useful to call it out. I think it's useful for people to point out when it is happening, just so that people who are new to the markets can be aware of it. But it's not really an indicator of anything good or bad about a coin. It doesn't tell you if it's a scam. It doesn't tell you if it's a legit project, because anytime there's a whale on a market, there's going to be fake volume.
Well, and one thing we've learned as well is that, whales don't always get along with developers. It's not always
right. Yeah, it's not always a
situation.
It's easy to think that behind the scenes everyone's really working together, working with each other, but not in crypto. Not always.
What else happened this week, man? It's been it was like an interesting week. There was a lot happening. I was doing a lot of trading, but it just like went by really quickly.
Yeah, a lot of it wasn't that memorable. There was some really big listings this week. I think that's probably the biggest news of the week that we'll get to.
Yeah.
In our listings segment, which I guess we could start now.
Yeah, you think so?
I think we're ready. Oh wait, what? There was something that happened with ShapeShift. What was that all about?
I read an article, and it was written by Eric Voorhees, who is the maybe funder or CEO of ShapeShift, and also that Satoshi Dice site.
Oh, nice.
And it explained a story about how they had hired somebody to be kind of their systems administrator.
Right.
And it was, an in-person job, so it was a person they had met, looked in the eyes, blah, blah, blah. He had resume, and over time, eventually there was a day where a bunch of Bitcoin was missing. And, they called the guy in, and he seemed strangely unconcerned, and then he, was basically like, after they did like a half a day of investigating, and then they were going to continue the investigation. He was basically like, "Oh, I'm going to go do something." He basically left and never came back.
Oh no.
And then the next thing that happened was they rebuilt a bunch of stuff, and then they immediately lost coins again.
Oh no. What?
Yeah. And then I don't remember if it happened a third time or not, but I remember that the crux of the story was that that dude had installed some type of software onto coworkers' laptops that allowed him to gain access to the other servers, like beyond his firing and all this stuff.
Man, that's crazy.
So anyway, beyond the awesome drama, cyber drama of that whole thing, like there's also just this aspect of where ShapeShift actually provides a really interesting service, and to me, this proves them to be highly professional and kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't necessarily be beaten even from the inside. Apparently, I like that, man.
Right? Yeah. Apparently they didn't.
Because this is something like with crypto going forward, it has to be big business for a lot of portions.
Yep.
The Bitcoin part.
And it reminds me a little bit of when Poloniex got hacked and they were able to bounce back from it. Like they kind of showed how strong they were back then.
Sure.
ShapeShift, they got hit, but they didn't lose everything. It sounds like so.
Well, and one interesting thing about their model is interesting thing about their model is that unlike Poloniex, who did an amazing job in refunding their customers, ShapeShift only loses their own money.
Yep. Yeah. They only were risking essentially their internal accounts.
So, although it can be a big blow to a business, they also it's easier to retain your reputation that way.
So yeah, I kind of agree with your consensus on this. I don't want to say skeptical of ShapeShift, but I just never really had much of an opinion on them either way. Well, and to see how they've handled this really gives me a lot of respect. And another thing that I like about this, I don't want to say that I like that some douchebag ripped these guys off, because no, that sucks. I really hope they catch this guy. But I like we've had so many exchanges go down where they just tell this really terrible, obviously made up story about, oh, I got hacked,
right.
The money's gone, bye.
Yeah, this seems more believable than that.
Yeah, this is obviously a real story. This is something
they have lawyers involved. And
exactly, it feels real. It's described.
They speak like humans.
Yeah, the details are presented in a way that makes it seem like it's probably something that actually happened. It really sucks that this guy did this.
Well, another thing,
it shows the dangers that blockchain companies are going to be facing. Like, man, if they've got access to your private keys, there's no rules. They can get those. They can get that money.
And that might be something why an exchange like this is valuable, because you don't actually have to deposit anything.
Yeah, true, and that provides a layer of security that doesn't exist traditionally.
One thing that I noticed when I was looking at ShapeShift, there's no publicity is bad publicity apparently. I noticed that they have an API which can be utilized. I wondered how that could be maybe used in arbitrage.
Interesting.
Because they allowed you to immediately exchange all these different currencies between each other, basically.
And again, I have never actually checked out ShapeShift, so it's true that it's funny because of this weird incident. Essentially, we might end up looking at actually starting to trade on ShapeShift. That's pretty interesting. Oh, Bitcoin hitting new peaks right now. Never stops.
What's it at now? What do you see?
I'm looking at the Chinese yuan market, but it just got up to 2948.6, which is pretty badass.
Nice, man. You still Neosin?
Oh man, I'm loving Neos lately. I can't believe this coin. Neos, it was off my radar for so long. It was on my radar. This pump is just really funny to me because it's just going and going and going, despite the fact that there's no accompanying news or anything. Everyone's just kind of in awe of why is this pump happening?
When we I mentioned I hang out on that channel on IRC, and so during this pump period, people have been coming into the channel asking quite legitimate questions like what's going on, and there's never any good answers. It's great. I think I saw Syntax actually post once in the last week or 2 weeks.
Nice.
And it was it was just totally useless information.
just completely unrelated to the insane. I mean, this is the biggest pump in Neos history. Neos has had a long history with a lot of participants in his market. So for it to just be happening, it goes back to this idea that the technology has to exist and the news and stuff is important for these markets, but it's not what drives the markets.
No.
What drives the markets, is money. And somebody out there is pumping this coin just crazy. And I can't figure out why. I'm having a ton of it's honestly been one of the best trading coins for me in ages. So I'm having tons of fun just trading it and stuff. But
nice volatility.
Yep, it's great. Oh, one other thing that I noticed about Neos, which is fun, is that it's this pump is centered on Bittrex. Almost every coin that's on both Bittrex and Poloniex, the pumps will go down on Poloniex. But this pump's actually led on Bittrex in volume and like in timing and stuff. Like you'll see the big buys on Bittrex before Poloniex, which is interesting to me.
That is interesting. Bittrex is a really functional exchange. I mean, I think their only downfall at the moment is that they seem so laissez-faire about everything. Like
they seem detached in a way. Not really just in tune necessarily with the market. I gave them a really hard time last week about their trading limits, and I've actually softened on that a little bit. I kind of read their statements, and they essentially said that it is a compliance issue for them, that their interpretation of none of these laws have been tested in court. So it's just kind of everybody kind of guessing as to what they think the laws mean and how they apply to their exchanges. And so Bittrex has interpreted it to say that the regulations, their liability is centered around the trading itself. So that's where they want to put these limits in order to be in compliance. And I guess I do understand that. It's a really bold move in the crypto space to potentially isolate customers that way, especially customers that really like to be anonymous, which is a lot of people in crypto.
Well, I guess I understand what you mean, and obviously I definitely hope Bittrex can continue to operate in their any capacity they want to. But it would seem that if there's a large enough segment in that category you just described, then they would simply go somewhere else.
Yeah, totally.
To trade.
And the options are there. I mean, man, Yobit.
Right now, the money's on Yobit. It's so funny.
So they got to be careful, but I'm optimistic. Again, there's been some good signs for what's going on in the future for Bittrex, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So let's talk about some listings.
Yep, there's the news of the week. Now, listings.
Basically, we feel like there's a few important parts in a coin's life. The first one is their announcement.
Yep.
The second one might be the listing.
Definitely.
And a third one is the birthday.
Yep. Those are three big.
So we kind of try to do that in our show.
Yep, those are three big milestones for every coin. Like, how many coins stay around a year, right? Not many. That's why that's significant. And listings is another big cutoff. A huge percentage of coins
don't get traded at all.
Don't ever get listed. And those, especially if you're a miner, that's like, that represents a total loss. That represents
0%.
a worst case.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a worst case scenario for you. And so, because of that, and just because of the importance of exchanges to the nature of crypto, the listings are huge. That's all there is to it.
This week, Cryptopia had a sale.
Yeah, this is kind of cool.
So it used to be 5 million dots to get listed, which might have been around like 0.5
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Do you on Cryptopia? Do you buy dots or do you get dots for doing anything?
It's like a proof of work mineable blockchain that they've just they've probably been going for 3 years or something.
It's just their blockchain, so you could actually mine your way onto Cryptopia. That's funny.
You could. It would probably take you a while.
I think that's pretty funny.
But it used to be 5 million. Changing it to 500,000 has created a rush of coins getting listed, which is great because
awesome.
Cryptopia is reminding me. It's a lot. Their interface is much better than Cryptsy, but their coin list is similar. It's reminiscent of these strange coins that we saw, right when we were coming into the scene, and just that Cryptsy stuff.
It's funny. One thing that's really funny about Cryptopia, they have YOV listed, the Yobit original blockchain.
Oh yeah, that was this week. Very interesting.
They have.
I've been watching the trolls talk about that. I wonder if they're transferable. I just don't know. I haven't looked into it. I don't care enough.
I believe they are. I believe. Oh, but how do they? It
can't be.
How do they enforce the rise only market then?
Yeah, it can't be.
Weird. So that's something interesting. Who
I don't
knows?
know.
They have so many old classics: Vericoin, Unobtainium, Triangles,
Halcyon,
yeah, huge old pump from back in the day. They have a ton of coins on Cryptopia. They've been around for as long as anybody. 42 coin is still traded on Cryptopia. That is funny. So they've got a really cool exchange. I signed up for Cryptopia this week. I had never actually registered here, it turns out. And so I'm on the exchange. I'm on a couple markets right now, seeing what's happening. I see that BeaverCoin that we talked about last week.
Yeah, this is the place where BeaverCoin was.
Traded on Cryptopia.
Yeah.
Man, it's just...
So
I'm a little disappointed I didn't see this market earlier because
the question is,
there's a lot of
and they
fun.
have an API. So in the long term, like the question is Cryptopia just a place where coins are going to die, or like is it a haven for? Blockchains just persevere?
Right.
You know, I honestly am in the second category. I really do think that it doesn't take a lot for a blockchain to survive.
Right.
But time will tell.
Okay, so Cryptopia listed.
They listed Fuzzballs, which I barely remember. I remember the name only.
I don't know anything about Fuzzballs.
BitcoinPlus.
I do remember this one getting launched. I do remember it being surprisingly successful, and I didn't really understand why, but that's not unusual. That's not unusual in my world. It's got a 54 Bitcoin market cap right now. Like that's
not bad.
That's good, man. That's pretty high grade, I think.
Yeah.
And so it seems like they listed this to just kind of round out their portfolio. It's just like an old coin that's been doing
well. It could have been one of those vote ones, though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, nice.
Most of these are.
Right.
Most of these are.
Oh, so the BitcoinPlus community probably just bumped it onto Cryptopia.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much. Like I was saying, it was like, $5. 10th of what it was before, whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Darsek. We didn't
What's
look
that
up.
all about?
We didn't look up a lot of info about it.
I didn't find anything on Darsek. I don't remember this getting launched. Maybe I'll try and do a little digging.
NineCoin or IXCoin. Huge market
coin.
cap.
Huge freaking coin.
How is the market cap so high on a coin like that?
I think that again, I don't. This is an accusation that I don't.
518 bitcoins is the market cap on that.
I think NineCoin is one of those coins that was like almost completely owned from the outset, and so has had a fake. I don't want to say fake, but a inflated market cap because of that. That could be a completely wrong interpretation. That's just off the cuff.
The next one that was listed there is MOIN.
MOIN.
My boy's MOIN.
Yep, I know. My man Jukely loves MOIN. He's been in it for just as long as somebody could be in a coin, but
not quite. I didn't mine it.
Oh right, that's right. So I
you were in there before me.
Yeah, that is funny. But MOIN's on Cryptopia, 36 Bitcoin market cap for MOIN. So doing really well for a low profile 1.0 blockchain.
It's going to be around. That's all I know about MOIN.
Yep.
Acoin. This is hilarious. I guess I'll admit that I paid for getting this coin listed.
Yep, my man Jukely went ahead and got Acoin on Cryptopia, just taking advantage of the sale they had on listings.
Yeah, why not?
We have a kind of a fun history with Acoin. Like Jukely just latched onto this coin really early, in terms of just goes back to his idea of what makes a good 1.0 blockchain is just really...
It's the statistics.
Yeah, it's just mostly parameters and history and just sticking with the coin and having people that are willing to stick with it to add value to the blockchain. Right? That's just that's what kind of 1.0 chains are about for Jukely at least, and I really respect that.
That's how Bitcoin did it.
Yeah. Yep, that is how Bitcoin did it, and I really respect that. And so because of that, I actually got into Acoin. A long time after it launched, I bought a ton of like a half a Bitcoin worth on Crypsy. And then like a complete idiot, I lost them on Crypsy.
That's one of the most interesting things about Acoin right now, perhaps from a market standpoint, is that the amount of Acoins that were lost on Crypsy will never be clear to us.
Yeah, we have no idea. And again, we've both been in Acoin for a long time, and most people probably haven't even heard of or participated in or ever cared about Acoin. And we're not trying to hype it.
No, it's just it's really interesting.
It's just out there. I don't really care if anyone...
It's one of those anomalies.
Yeah, exactly. It's out there. It's just something that's been real to us because we've been close to it, and so it's been fun to watch. But now it's on Cryptopia, and I know Jukely's having a lot of fun with the market already. I've had a little bit of fun with the market.
It's barely been trading, but
I mean, compared to not trading at all, like it was after Crypsy went down,
right?
That's a big change.
It's an SHA 256 chain. It's got super low rewards at this point, 0.03 something per block.
It's basically mined out.
Yeah, it's basically mined out.
That's it. That's Acoin, man.
That's it.
It's just an old blockchain that works.
So Yobit listed a whole bunch.
Yep, Yobit was they were really on point this week, just firing off listing after listing. Does Yobit? It seems like ever since they adopted this 0.1 Bitcoin fee, it's like they don't even have to do free listings anymore. It's so affordable for people that Yeah, I think a lot of these coins are just paying. Or do you think Yobit's listing these?
I bet the free
Pro
list.
bono.
I would think that you don't get listed if you put it in the free box.
Yeah, you think it's just all paid listings?
I mean, what is it's like 0.2 or something?
Yeah, exactly. Get on Yobit. Yobit's not.
Cryptopia is actually cheaper right now.
Yeah, Yobit's not the market it was a year ago, man.
The volume's not there yet, but their website worked fine.
Yeah. Yobit's, you mean?
Cryptopia's.
Right. Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm having a great...
I'm just comparing. It was a tiny bit slower, I'll admit.
Cryptopia is fun to me. It just feels like a little exchange that's not trying to take itself too seriously.
No, I bet they want to be serious. It's just a matter of time, you know. Like
it's not called the arbitrage page. It's called the arbitrage trade.
True. Yeah, and they say like they have a list of why coins are rejected from their voting thing.
Yeah,
and
that's really
under
funny.
like Dash coins, like they're douchebags.
If you haven't, where do you know how to get to that list? Because
go to the vote tab on the top.
If you've never been to Cryptopia for their community voting page, there's like
and then go to the very bottom.
There's like a list of reasons that they have rejected coins, and it's so funny. BombCoin failed coin review. Let's see.
That's pretty usual for them. That's actually they've rejected a lot in the last few days. People have kind of flooded them with requests.
Darknet reported scam. Dev work not paid for.
Read the GSM one. That's a good one because we talked about that.
GSM accused us of scamming them because they came second in a weekly vote round. Rejected. That is so funny. Yeah,
I like that. It's like kind of vindictive.
Yeah, it's just tongue in cheek. This was, and I got that same vibe out of Yobit when they were in their younger days. They're not.
And these guys are in a weird direct competition with Yobit.
Definitely.
The strangest one I saw was Cryptopia provides this arbitrage thing that Brandon Doge just mentioned, and what that is a page that tells you pricing information between several exchanges, so you might be able to become aware of a arbitrage opportunity. But Yobit detected which IP address Cryptopia was pinging their API from and blocked it.
Oh no, really?
And so they no longer have Yobit on arbitrage. And obviously, I mean, at that point, they were kind of like, fuck you, so it probably will never happen again.
So they're beefing a little bit.
I love that stuff, right?
And I think the arbitrage page is really cool. I mean, arbitrage is a cool trading, and
it's just a nice feature for no other exchange has it.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a cool way to see what the price. It's like just a cool reference. Like, oh, I want to see what some dumb coin that I never thought I would ever trade is trading for on all the exchanges.
But so Yobit has such high volume. They listed Cloak.
Yeah, Cloak coin, really old coin.
Is that getting any volume after it's been listed?
Let's check. That's a good question. I wonder if is Cloak still traded on Bittrex? What is the story with Cloak?
Boy, I sure remember the name. That's easy to remember.
Cloak was a huge pump in the post-Black coin era.
So they've had 10 trades on Yobit since getting listed. You got to wonder why that got listed there.
Cloak came out in the legacy.
I guess they probably paid for it. Somebody probably paid for it and it got listed. That's it.
Cloak came out in the legacy of Dark Coin and the legacy of Black Coin. Those two big pumps together created a lot of follower coins, and Cloak was one that it built a huge following. It had just tons of hype, tons of people around for a long time, and apparently it's still going because somebody put it on Yobit.
I was never in it that I can recall.
Nope, me either.
I was painfully aware of its pump.
I was kind of like
not. One of those.
I wasn't too deep into the game when Cloak. I was like kind of.
You were in there.
I stepped back from the game for a few months back then, and Cloak came out in that period when I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
And Brenda, 1,000 Bitcoin cap.
Yeah, the market cap is insane on this thing. It says 1,000 Bitcoins on CoinMarketCap. I kind of wonder if maybe that's a artifact of the fact that the trading isn't
happening.
So
there's zero volume.
Right. Like I don't know.
Who knows?
What's going on there?
And Yobit listed TheCreed, which was that airdrop that's airdropped in like 10 minutes. 15 minutes.
Insta airdropped out. Is there any volume on it?
What's
the ticker on that thing?
There's been some volume and there's been some good troll boxing too.
Oh, nice. I like that. Do you know what the ticker on Creed is?
TCR.
TCR. Yeah, good volume. 5 Bitcoin volume. Good start for Yobit. Chart looks like what I'd expect a chart to look like.
It's been a lot of trading with very little price movement, so that's always kind of something.
That's something I like to see.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be too little price movement, but you want to see a market that's able to hold a floor.
The next one that got listed was Panther. That was that pink Panther one that looked.
Are you serious?
I don't think we like the look of that at all.
No, I didn't.
So they probably paid for it, but
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
And there hasn't
listed.
been a lot of troll talk about that one, so I don't know if it's just going to die or if it's a long-term accumulation pump or what's happening. But it's listed.
Man, if I had to take a guess on Panther, I would say that it's just going to sit on Yobit for like 6 months, and then it's going to spike to like 1,000x for one day, and then it will be gone forever. That's my take on Panther.
I think I'm going to buy $500 million worth.
Yeah, I would go all in. No.
Billary got listed.
Billary got listed right away.
Immediately got some good volume.
Yeah, nice market cap, 12 Bitcoin market cap, really good, more than I would have expected for something that's just in the shadow of Trump coin. Doing, obviously, surpassing what Clint was able to achieve. Even though Clint technically has a higher market cap, I think that the interest in Billary feels more natural to me, but it's also just like a...
I didn't feel that way because I saw a lot of that that flashing bot disco
just garbage
on Billary.
Yeah, but I think... And Billary's so tongue-in-cheek that I think that guy just wanted to see the light go off.
Yeah, well, I think that's been the case this week. You're right.
Yeah, like a lot of people just want to see that freaking light blink over and over again, so they're running
so you can
their
just
bots.
set the bot to buy 10 at a time.
Yeah, you set
or
it to the
whatever.
minimum quantity. Yobit could mitigate that by increasing the minimum that is required to trade, but whatever.
I hope they don't do that.
Me either. I don't. Yobit, they don't give a fuck, man. They'll do whatever they want.
The next coin is honestly my favorite coin of the
man.
week, easily.
We're so excited about this. Oh, really, coin? We've been talking about this. Oh, really was on our first show.
Oh, nice.
It came out on our first
We're
show.
going to review the shows next week, so I wasn't aware that it's on the first one.
I think it's the first one. It might be the second one, but I think it's on the first one. And we were like, this is a fun little coin. Let's mine it. And I know you ended up.
I just mined it with one graphics card for that entire time.
Since the entire time it launched.
Got like 290,000, and
I mean, think about that.
Barely,
that's so sick.
I barely could. I haven't been able to catch the market basically. Like at my best trade was at the very beginning there. I mentioned that last week. I was able to like short it from the entrance down to 7 satoshis or 6 satoshi, and that increased my really quite a bit. But then I sold that probably for 2x, and then that was at like 17 satoshi, and then it just kept going up from there. Basically, I shorted it. I did a successful arbitrage right when it got listed on Yobit. I bought everything that was available at 25 satoshi on AllCureX,
Nice.
and then I sold that on Yobit at 50. But then I basically since then have just been trying to short it and have not really been very successful. The most short I can get is like fucking
Couple satoshis.
yeah, 3%, 2%.
I know. I mined this one right out the gate after we talked about it on the show the first week. I did a nice hash on it for like about a week when the difficulty was really high. Not really. I mean, really high by the standards of it, really. It was like 2 or 3 difficulty. And despite the fact that that was a relatively high difficulty, my return on it is still about 20x. Like, huge, insane margin. And so, man, I'm just jealous of people like you who had that GPU on it the whole time. Such a huge return.
Well, what's funny right now, like it's probably today's actually almost like a dump day. It's down to 300 satoshi now, which feels low all of a sudden. Whereas
Right.
like I bought it at 150 yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's down to 15 times what I paid to mine it. Like, it's so...
It's one of those coins where I just don't know.
It makes me so happy.
One thing that attracted us, or this had a legendary member account that announced it.
And it didn't seem to be a bot account.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? But it didn't seem that way, and it just we've been talking about it a little bit about it, and kind of we're wondering if it ever was gonna get listed.
So that's
Kinda
been
that
fun,
point.
especially first week of not having my day job, being able to just sell a shitcoin and make my rent for the month.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. It's just the best feeling, and it's what
That's what
shitcoins are about.
Exactly.
It's what
That's
shitcoins
what
are
we
about.
want. We want there to be
You
a
show up-
whole world where people can just join in and
Yeah, exactly. And
become
there's
part of that.
And it's a function of how crazy altcoins are right now. That there's a coin like Orly that can sit totally unnoticed for 2 months. That you, as a miner, all you have to do is notice that it's there and decide to mine it, and it's gonna work for you because of it's got the fundamentals. It's a real dev. It's not like a big development project. They're not trying to change the world or anything, but it's just a real dev. It's a real coin.
It
It's
is a
been going
pump
for a
coin.
long time, and now it's
People
pumping crazy.
shouldn't be confused about it.
Yeah.
And I see in the troll box sometimes where people might be for or against something, and like I'm sure I can't detect the sarcasm as well as I should be able to, but I also think that people should realize that nothing like this is going to destroy altcoin world.
No, it's all part of this huge, crazy experience.
It's wonderful.
So there you have it. Oh, really, really excited about it.
Great week.
They listed TrollTokens. Yobit did. We talked about it a little bit. It's just trading well. It's fresh out of the market. I should have mined it earlier.
SHA 256.
Yep, SHA. I'm going to start
It's
mining
definitely
it.
not too late to mine this one because this is a similarity to Orly in this regard. It has an increasing block reward as you get further on.
Oh, nice. That's
until
cool.
the very final portion where it goes back down to like the medium block reward.
Nice.
And I honestly love this type of distribution because for proof of work specifically,
Yep.
it allows people with premonition basically to take the risk, get in, they get more coins for less, and then in the long run, it also provides future miners to get about the equal amount of. Basically, everybody gets a kind of similar payout.
Right. Totally. It like balances out. There tends to be this incentive for people to rush into coins early, and the increasing reward balances that incentive out and creates a stable mining market.
Well, we used to see the exact opposite, right? Like almost exclusively. And we still
definitely.
saw about 50% of that.
You still see mostly front-loaded coins, but I like seeing coins that have increasing rewards do well.
So TrollTokens is trading like they have about 5.6 Bitcoin market cap.
Yep, that's about it. So there they are. They're out there. They're trading, and we'll see what happens.
Number 7.
Yeah, we talked about this coin when it was launched.
Yep. I'm glad to see that it still exists.
I'm glad to see it exists. I'm glad to see it's trading. It has a suspiciously large market cap right now at 34 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So hard to say what's really going on there. I think this was a big pre-mine, but I don't remember exactly what's going on there. But
Just remember, guys, buy low, sell high. So if the market cap's high, O'Reilly's high right now, number 7's high. Looking at those, it doesn't mean that it's a bad time to buy, but it's going to be riskier, right?
Looking back over number 7, it looks all right. It's just they're not. It's kind of similar to Elephant Coin that we talked about earlier. Like it
doesn't.
It's not
promise
trying
a lot.
to. It's not trying to pretend to be anything it's not, but it has all the solid fundamentals, and it seems to have people actually working on it. So, I guess number 7's doing better than I thought it would.
Clint got listed on Yobit as well.
And Clint, I've kind of been hyping up Billary a little bit just because I think it's funny and it's more in terms of the political candidate.
We would have
coins.
called it Hill Dog though.
Yeah, exactly. Clint is just I don't think the name is funny. Hill Dog that's funny. I wish it was totally wish it was called Hill Dog. I can't even calculate the market cap on this one because it's like there's no working block explorer. Like if you go about the supply,
I think this is a real bad coin.
yeah, and it's got like a 40% pre-mine or something, just straight up garbage, stupid stuff. So if you wanna trade a dumb Trump coin or political knockoff coin, please trade Billary or Burn or Trump or something.
He doesn't care which one you trade. Just
Yep,
do it.
yeah, I don't care. Just make it not Clint because those guys I don't like.
Nah, it's fine. You can trade it.
Yeah, well, trade Clint too then. Fine.
Brain was also listed on Yobit, and this one was the one with the hilarious bot that just like was having a seizure for half a day.
Yeah,
yesterday.
the bot was trading like 10 times a second, just lighting up the Yobit sidebar all day. This coin was a CryptoCoin talk only announcement.
Oh, that's unusual.
I think it's really cool. We've been kind of harping this week on this idea of how centralized the market, the information in the community is around Bitcoin talk.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And so it's cool to see people releasing coins on CryptoCoin talk and having nobody really care. Nobody's like, oh, you didn't release this on Bitcoin talk. It's not real. At the same time, they did release it on CryptoCoin, or you didn't release it on Bitcoin talk, so it's not real. But they did release it on CryptoCoin talk. And it's got I don't know, it seems like it has a pretty good market cap. Once again, I couldn't really get to the Explorer. And I'm happy to see coins released on CryptoCoin talk, but I don't like Brain, if that makes sense. It just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, it's just like a really slow start to something that might be better.
Yeah, I got annoyed by the stupid bot. So it's like, whatever. Brain's out there. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, and Bittrex.
Boom. This has got to be the big listing of the week right here. Bittrex.
STEEM.
STEEM. And
this is another one that I got to mine with my CPU
Yep, I don't want to. Well, actually,
This week it kind of died down. I mean, I think I solved one block all week, and at this point, it's like I got to update it, and I'm such a lazy fuck, and oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean, not too lazy to be mining Steam. That's better than I can say. You got it going, and you've been mining it, and the payouts have just been like unreal. So
when it first got listed, the price was very high. It was about $1 a Steam.
Yep, just sick.
And it dropped as low as man, I'm gonna say like 25 cents a Steam.
It got down to about 80,000 sat at the bottom, but the market is looking solid as hell.
Now it's back up to more like 50 cents a Steam again.
I think it was yeah.
So
maybe
very,
even more,
very
closer to
very
60
volatile
cents.
so far, and really interesting coin. Like I mentioned, it's based on BitShares. It's much different than anything I'd ever mined before, and the business model behind it is a little bit more serious and professional than things I've seen in the past. So it'll be interesting. We're actually gonna have a little interview with Ned from Steam.
Yeah, we've been in contact with the Steam people, and it's just I don't want to like. Well, I do want to actually. I want to brag about kind of calling this one correctly. For a few weeks after Steam came out, we're like, this is one of those coins that's got everything you need. You should be mining this. And then I fail. I kind of had some compilers or whatever. I never quite got it running. But I know Jukely was able to get it running. The payout was just crazy. It's just...
it's really amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And just like Orly coin, it's like having the tenacity to actually mine the coins and knowing what to mine can just be so ridiculously valuable. And that's what the success on Steam proves. That's what your success on Orly proves, I think, and especially in this current market. So I gotta throw it up for how well you've been trading these coins lately.
It's been good lately.
And so
it was a good. I liked having that happen with my first week of not having the day job. Right?
Yeah, exactly. 2 big wins in 1 week is a great feeling, and yeah. So my congrats to you, man. Congrats to Steam.
Oh, thanks, man.
I haven't. I'm waiting. I haven't bought in yet. I don't.
Yeah, it didn't, and like it dumped hard, right? So some people certainly lost money. So it's not.
This
like
market
it's
is it's so new. It's.
I don't know what it's worth either.
I have no idea. I have no idea what it's
they're
worth.
going to have their official launch based around the timing of the consensus in New York City, which is like a big blockchain Bitcoin conference.
Yeah, it's like an expo or something.
It reminds me of Penny Arcade East PAX or something.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
For
but for Bitcoins.
yeah. So that sounds fun.
So
And
there you have it. Steam, big.
it's a good time to talk about your coin,
fucking
that's for
news.
sure.
Yep.
So that's been cool. And of course we mentioned their failed ICO was the only other thing that happened, and we can't hold that against Bittrex whatsoever. I'm sure that they did what they have been able to do.
If I was Bittrex, I would just stop hosting ICOs altogether.
Well,
it doesn't seem to be working.
Like
for their reputation.
So they
take a reputation hit every time this happens.
I can understand, like, you don't want to be discriminatory,
Right.
and you want everybody to have an opportunity, and you want to be fair, and you want to also sort of like screen for this stuff. But the dudes are from like Moldova or like, Estonia, like these just like places where it's like, okay, so the only reason you ever create a company there is because you're a scammer.
Right. And
so at some point we have to accept that type of stuff and just realize that, there's not going to be a lot of stuff, legitimate things coming out of these countries.
Yeah, and I don't know if I don't know if I'd break it down by country necessarily. I think
that's what I don't. But that's the part that I don't want to do either. I know exactly, because I don't want to break it down by country, because it's not that I'm nationalistic.
Right. I mean, you can't really break it down by country. You can't really break it down by type. I mean, you have people like GA miners doing things that are just as sketchy as what the IXCoin team.
But let's say you were a
in
Moldovan.
America.
Let's say you were a Moldovan computer scientist that wanted to release a blockchain, for example.
Right.
Wouldn't you be better off like registering that company anywhere but that fucking country that you're in?
Yeah,
like,
registered in Panama.
It just has to, it just has to do with like a little common sense. The reason that those people register those companies in those sketchy ass places is because it's cheap, easy, and huge tax shelter. It has nothing to do with like
Right.
I don't know. I'm just saying. It doesn't. I'm sure people make a lot of money off of all sorts of amazing things, but I just I know that this game is going to get increasingly complex as things move forward.
I mean, if I'm Bittrex in this case, I'm saying just stop. It just seems like the ICO thing isn't really a core element of their business, so just get rid of it. It's
especially when they're at this point where they're not listing coins that have legitimate communities due to the fact that they are like concerned about appearing a sort of
yeah,
way.
they're trying to set up this new image, but then they're still taking these paid garbage ICO listings.
It's like on one hand, it's not about the money; it's more about like legitimacy, and then on the other hand, it's like 100% about the money.
Totally, that's an excellent analysis. So Bittrex, we love you.
Yeah, it's true. I love your site.
Stop listing these shitty fucking IPOs, please, for your own sake. Okay, so that's it. That's the listings for this week.
Did we do C-Cex? Did we do?
Oh no, we didn't. We didn't talk about C-Cex.
They also listed TrollTokens, which we mentioned because it was listed on Yobit.
Yep. So good sign for TrollTokens. Interesting to see them on both exchanges.
Definitely paid listings on both, which means that somebody's going to spend some money.
Yep, and there you have it.
That's what we look for. And then CoExist is an older-ish coin. Doesn't look bad. I mean,
this one was funny to me because I calculated the market cap at 0.4 Bitcoin.
That can't be right.
0.4 Bitcoin.
That cannot be right.
Maybe the C-Cex, maybe the supply indicator is wrong.
That's so low.
So yeah, if you want to buy if you're just like bored today and you're like, I would like to buy an entire blockchain, you might consider CoExist on. You might consider buying a CoExist on C-Cex.
You know what, Brando?
Yes, Juke.
Let's talk about the birthdays.
Oh, coin birthday! We love the birthdays, and here they are. We're switching segments. We're on to coin birthdays.
So far, we found out that coins that exist for 1 or 2 years are very significant.
They're badass is what they are, and that's why we're going to talk about them.
The first one that's listed for a year, and man, this year I must have blacked out at some point, like around November. But DROIDZ is a year old now.
Yeah, I definitely was not in tune with the game when DROIDZ came out, but it came out Yobit IPO. This was in the era of the Yobit IPO,
April 21st. So not long ago. And
what happened with DROIDZ is that they had this idea of being like a phone-centered coin. They built up a huge community. It was a huge troll box coin. You'd hear about DROIDZ in the troll box all the time, and then
eventually a community takeover.
Yep, to the surprise of nobody, the dev disappeared, and it became a community takeover coin. But to the credit of that community, it is still trading pretty strong. Still out there. It's
14 Bitcoins.
Yep, it's done everything it needs to be. Cap. It's done everything it needs to be a viable 1-year birthday coin. So
happy birthday!
Cheers to you, DROIDZ.
This next one I thought was super interesting. BitStar coin.
BitStar 2-year birthday.
One of the most significant reasons it was interesting to me was that it was listed on both Poloniex and Bittrex, which is a great spot to be right now.
Yeah, BitStar
in crypto history.
BitStar is another coin that came out in the wake of the black coin pump, in the wake of the black coin and dark coin pumps. And I had pegged it early as a potential another one of these mega pumps. I mined a lot of it. I don't remember how well I actually fared on selling it, but it never lived up to being quite as big as I thought it would. But it also still turned out to be a pretty big project that has had the durability. It's still out there. It's still trading on both exchanges, right?
Yep.
160 Bitcoin market cap. That is pretty freaking sweet. And we give it up to BitStar, what they've pulled off.
Yeah, and it looked to me like they have something coming up announcement-wise. So, I mean, obviously, like I've mentioned before, this isn't like investment advice. And actually, I own 0 BitStar. I will tell you that honestly. But this definitely is one that I'm going to be watching just out of interest for a price increase as they get closer to
whatever is coming.
Whatever they're doing.
Yep, totally. The volume is tiny, 0.02 Bitcoin on Poloniex, but I like it.
To hold that market cap, though, that means that nobody's selling, right?
Right, exactly. They've if nothing else, it is a stable market.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Our next birthday.
2-year birthday.
Our next 2-year birthday. Huge coin.
Monero,
now, XMR.
When you talk about market caps,
we talk about 20 Bitcoins. We talk about 100 Bitcoins. We're like, oh, man, this coin's doing real well. It's got 160 Bitcoin market cap. My main man, Jukely, what is the market cap on Monero right now?
Well, when I looked up, it was 27,898 Bitcoins.
Boom. That's so freaking huge. Like, imagine, I remember Monero coming out, and I remember me being like, oh, crypto node, I can't mine this. Ignore it.
This coin still makes no sense to me.
Paid no attention to it, and then I have watched it.
I literally don't understand what this coin is trying to accomplish. That's always been my problem.
It's this whole idea of crypto note ring signatures. I could not explain it to you in layman's terms of what's really interesting about it, I guess, but it's like a different it's a different way of validating transactions and stuff, I guess, and it's different enough to distinguish itself. And I've always said that it's not the technology that drives ultimately the success of the coins necessarily.
Right, absolutely.
But also any coins that do have unique technology and long term, any coins that really have defining technology and are around for the long term are going to be successful. And so, Monero it's a factor. It's a combination of just obviously there was some real major market activity, and then you had this major, this actual development, and it's just combined to create one of the greatest coins of all time, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, here we are 2 years in, like we're saying, right? And they have a $12.6 million market cap.
So, I mean, that is just incredible. So, congratulations to Monero. Again, this is one that I've literally never bought or sold a Monero.
Nope.
I don't have any stake in this thing. I just think it's badass what they've pulled off.
It's crazy, man.
Boom. That's it. That's the last birthday. 2 years. That's, man.
One funny thing that I always think about with that type of number is, and we've talked about this privately, of course, sometimes, is that, like, even the Bitcoin economy itself, like, compared globally, isn't even that big yet.
Yeah, $12 million. I mean, for us, that's like, damn, that's a huge blockchain in the blockchain world. If you talk about a small business with a market value of $12 million, that's like a really small business. Like, that's not. Yeah, that's like in the business world. That's like
a hometown grocery store.
Yeah, but blockchains have also showed what $12 million means. Monero has a $12 million market cap, and it's changed hundreds, maybe more lives. It's like there are people that live off Monero. There are people that have just there are people whose lives have been completely transformed by the value of Monero, despite the fact that it's just air quotes, just a $12 million market cap. So it's incredible. It's incredible to me. I love it.
So going forward, we'll do our part as blockchain dynamics to keep track of all these wild and crazy crypto markets.
Boom, that's it. We're wrapping it up. Show number 9. It's here. It's come and gone. A little bit of a long show today. We kind of are just, we have fun rambling about these coins. So thanks everybody who stuck with us for the duration.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, people don't have to, obviously.
Yeah, we love it. We love that people just listen to sections, or we love it when people just kind of show up for the coins they're interested in.
Our average listen went from 10 minutes to about 30 minutes from the first show to the 8th show.
Yep, I think that's badass. So we have a little bit lower view counts, which we're really happy with our listener counts, but
Brandon's not. I saw him crying in the corner the other day, and I was
like, I'm very sensitive, actually. I'm very sensitive.
But, we'll see you next week, and
boom, that's it. Thanks for listening.
We'll have Not So Fast on the show with us,
Yeah, special guest Not So Fast, so you got to check that out.
Check it.
Error by Trial Radio.
Error by Trial.
Hold up on my Nakamoto.